Professor, the court seemed to have particular concerns about deportation to Rwanda, but not the deportation policy itself. What does this mean for the UK government, even as it plans to appeal that ruling?
Well, I think that the government made an error in that it negotiated an international treaty. It legislated funding, 170, I'd even heard 180 million to build facilities, but it forgot to pass legislation, to pass an act of parliament that declared Rwanda a safe third country. And it was purely on those grounds that a majority of the three-panel appellate court determined that this policy was not lawful. In other words, if Rishi Sunak's government had simply passed an act of parliament declaring Rwanda be a safe third country, then the court would have found, as the High Court found below it, and as maybe the Supreme Court would find after it, that Rwanda is a safe third country.
So, Professor, if the UK were, say, to forget about Rwanda while still moving on ahead with this plan, what other viable options are available for Sunak's administration?
All right, so I think the first thing is they have to take a list of countries which are recognized as safe third countries. A safe third country is a country to which an asylum seeker can be sent, which then has proper, safe, lawful procedures. Under European law, which Britain used to be under, it also had to be a country where the migrant had a connection. Since Brexit, Britain no longer needs to respect that. So there are Egyptian refugees. They could be sent to Rwanda under British law. Now, there are the countries in Africa. The biggest recipient is South Africa. If Rishi Sunak were to negotiate a deal with South Africa, that could offer a safe third country, or it could attempt to cut deals with other countries. The essence, the mistake really was not having Parliament declare Rwanda a safe country.
So now, Professor, just these numbers, let's just go over them a little bit. Sending the asylum seekers to Rwanda was to cost Britain about £169,000. This is just over $215,000. How does this compare, Professor, in terms of cost to the option of finding in-country solutions if the migrants were to stay within the UK?
All right, so I believe those numbers were actually official numbers released by the government. I had seen an estimate that if they were to just try to house and take care of these refugees while the asylum process was going on, that is, while the papers were being filed and the tribunals were deciding the matter, it would cost about half that, about 100,000. So sending them back seems more expensive. And I think what is probably behind the thinking is they want to send a message to people who are coming from around the world to Britain that there is this policy in place and that they'll be sent to Rwanda, and they know people don't want to be sent to Rwanda. But it's more costly per person, according to the government's own estimate.